Hello, viewers. Welcome to my channel, Sensor 360 Investor. Today, let's take a look at a off-the-shelf product service from Investors Business Dailies. They have a product called Investor Swing Trader, and it's been around a few years now, so there is some history behind it. So let's take a look at that and see if there may be some value for you in the usage of that product. So within our 360 framework, today we are focused in on the trader segment. Okay, just a quick word about the disclaimer before we begin. Channels are not providing financial advice. Please pause, read, and then continue. Thank you. Okay, so without much further ado, let's begin. As I mentioned, today's video is about IBD swing trader. So this So they have this product which they sell, and we'll get into the details of that at the end. But certainly, it's a fairly clean product and service, and you can get it on your desktop, your tablets, and your phones. Okay. Okay, so we're going to jump over to their watch list from earlier this month, and this is what was active in their kind of ideas list for May 8th. So it is not a current list, but I'm sure most of these stocks in this watch list are on their current list as well. It would be unfair to publish their current list on this video. Okay, so let's have a look at. So this is from May 8th. If we look at, so what I've done is I've listed the stocks down here, and then from May 8th up, I've ranked it in terms of performance from that date. So what we can do is just see, let's just look for patterns and see what maybe they may be looking at, and something. If there's something here for you in terms of a pattern you can pick up and use in your own trading. And if you like their service, maybe you give that a shot too. Okay, so let's just go down. So obviously this one gapped up. And roll through. Okay, I'm gonna swing through these, no pun intended. So that, and these first few stocks are all have all had a run. And so what we're going to be looking for is candidate set patterns to see where the stock may have set up for a swing trader. So obviously there's a low here, but you have a price resistance here. Once you clear that price resistance, you've actually got a good return, almost 19% right there. So again, you got a gap up. This one's overcoming a price resistance area, price resistance, price resistance that happened before, price resistance, gap up. So that one's another price resistance, gap up, price resistance. So this one's not quite a good setup, but here's another kind of a momentum breakout from price resistance, gap up, price resistance. So this one is kind of a reversal. So let's just flick through a few of these. I think the more interesting ones are going to be once we get past the ones that have already moved. So it's going to play, so there's gap up. So we can already see kind of there's three key patterns here to look for. You have price resistance, that's going to be a momentum breakout. You have gap ups, which is a momentum burst. And then you have reversals like this one, where the stock's been trending, coming back in, and then it takes out the trending downtrend line. with some strong volume, strong gap up, and price movement. So this was a pretty strong move. If you'd caught this is back on May 1st, you'd be sitting at about 20% in, less than a couple of weeks. Okay, so this one obviously probably would have been on their list today as an alert. So you've got a nice breakout occurring above average volume. Okay, so now we're getting into potential setups. So here you have a price consolidation, a move above that resistance area here, or even above that moving average. It could be a setup. So here you have a reversal, pretty clean. So here's this looks like a good setup right here. This is Churchill down. So you've had a nice gap up, momentum burst through held. Now it's forming a really good accumulation pattern. So breakout above this would be your entry point, which 4% to get to the prior high if it goes through, which you should do. So there's a quick buck or two potential in that trade. So a lot of pullbacks, which is one of the patterns it looks like they look for. So you got this one may be a little too, this pullback may be a little too deep, but certainly if it turns around, starts taking that averages out, could be in play. So here's a nice quiet pullback to support. So move above today's bar would be the entry. And you can see they're kind of close to like 4 or 5% pickups. So here's another one. Shop. You had a gap up move here out of this little slow trending uptrend. And then you've taken out the prior highs with some volume. It's quieting down, it's coming back in, it's finding support. So a move above today's low high, I should say, is probably a good place to take a swing trade on this. So this one's pulling in, maybe getting a bit too deep. Same here. This one's might be of interest because a nice little pullback. It's hanging close to that average, close fairly well up for the day in the bar. And then if it can get a lift on higher volume out of this, potentially this stock could easily get up to 9-10%. So on this one, I would avoid gap downs if you're trying to play the long side. So we'll refrain from the short patterns. So these are all weak now because you've got gap down formations. Gold stocks, gapping down. Yeah. So here's a gap up and then a gap down. So it looks like they also include not just straight ETFs, but doubles and triples ETFs as well. We'll loop back to the beginning. Okay, so in it does this. It looks like there's about 3 to 4 go-to patterns that they're looking at, um, and there's enough in their watch list that you certainly have enough ammunition to do it yourself. And even if you um, figure out which ones you want to play from their list, that's probably doable too. And so far, we can see that they've got some of these stocks are up like well over 20% in a short time period, but they also have stocks on the list which are down almost 20%. But your stop losses would take care of that for you. So let's switch back over to Hannah's presentation. Okay, so back over to for closing comments. So from what I was able to see from their watch list from a week ago, there are definitely tradable candidates in that list. So I think there probably is some value um, to this. But question is, if you have the tools and you have the skills and you can do it yourself, then that's one path. If you don't, then maybe you want to investigate this a little bit further. I did Google returns, and so if you just put in IBD swing trader performance, you can see. So this was the Google search. You can see there's various comments from people, and so that have posted returns. And this one is from as of almost year in 2021, and obviously that wasn't a great year, but so the service provided 6.88% against the S&P of 25.82%. Clearly, if you just bought the S&P, you would have done better. But so this is an interesting comment. Overall positive year. So maybe they have other years where they were, outperforming the S&P significantly. Okay, if you are interested, and I don't have any affiliation with their service or whatever, but just if anybody was looking at this, that's what the service costs. All right, so that wraps it up. I was kind of curious as to swing trading, a swing trade, and there are other swing trading services we can also look at down the road. But this just started off with this one by way of introducing swing trading within the trading quiver. So it's just another arrow for you in terms of you know how to play the markets through very short-term positions, and these short-term positions could be just a couple of days to a couple of weeks, or even maybe out to a month. Very rarely will they go that far. Okay, so if you want, what I suggest is you go back and replay the portion where I went through the stocks, slow it down, take a look, and study some of those charts, study some of those patterns, because there's definitely value in doing that exercise, whether you become a swing trader or not. Okay, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Goodbye for now.